Hey guys, this is Orion with Rewrite Your Stars. Our purpose is to empower you to live your most fulfilled life. And with fall semester starting soon, I've had 8 years of undergraduate and graduate school experience. This is my last fall semester. What I figured I'd do is I'd give you my top tips and takeaways that helped me survive college. If you were as naive or overwhelmed as I was as a freshman, these will definitely help you. For those with more experience, you still might find something helpful in this video, but if I missed something that you thought was great, leave a comment below, let me know, and let's jump into it. We may be a little too late with this first tip, but my first tip is you need to live close to campus, as close as you can for as cheap as possible. And that's the balance that we have to have. What I found is the closer you live to campus, usually the more dumpy the apartment can be, depending on if it's a dorm or, somewhere close by, and the more expensive it is. Whereas the further away you can get something nicer, but you have to drive. And that's the biggest thing. You don't want to have to drive to campus. Any campus where I've gone, the parking is always atrocious and you always are fighting for it. So if you can live close enough where you can ride your bike or walk, it will save you so much time and hassle. I promise that's a great tip. This may even go without saying now, but you need to meet with your academic advisor or your counselor. And the reason why is I've heard of too many stories when people are about to graduate, but they missed a class and they have to take a whole nother semester. Don't be that person. Start it off early. Go once a semester or once a year. That's what I did. Usually it was relatively quick, or if I needed help, like getting into a class so that I could graduate on time, your counselor can help, and they can even talk to teachers to make sure you're getting in the right class so that you can graduate on time. So see your academic counselor or advisor. Make sure you don't miss it. Earlier in the semester is always better than later, before the add drop deadline. That way you can switch your classes if you need to. Now, seeing your academic advisor is essential, but what I would deem just as essential is you need to talk to someone who has done it before. I went to a counselor, or what I thought was a counselor, as a freshman, my fall semester, and it ended up just being another student. I had no idea, and they signed me up for 3 of the most failed classes at my university, all in the same first semester. It was really tough, and I was stressed out the whole time. But really, if I would have just had someone to tell me, you don't want to take those 3 classes at the same time, I would have saved so much hassle and stress. So find someone who has done it before. Talk to someone on Facebook. Ask for a reference from your advisor of a student who's been before you. Anything you can do to just say, hey, is this doable or not? That way you can decide which classes you need to take, because you don't want to take the hardest classes your first semester, which is part of this tip, is save those classes that you can handle for the first semester. My GPA for the first semester was almost 2. It was 2.4. I didn't fail any classes, luckily, but I put myself deep into a hole that I had to dig out of, and to bring your GPA up is hard. Going along with what I just mentioned, you have to have someone who's willing to mentor you. Find someone you can ask questions to. Don't be afraid to ask them. Don't bug or annoy them, and they'll be a great asset to you your whole time during school. You need to be able to have your TA and your teacher know your name. Your TA may even be more important than your teacher. I found in a lot of my classes, if not most, that the TAs are actually the ones grading the papers. They're the ones who take the test. They look over the tests. They do reviews for tests. They should be your best friend. TAs sometimes even know more than the teachers. You'd be surprised. Oftentimes they're graduate students or people who have taken the class before, so they will have the experience that you need to be able to pass the tests and to do well in the classes. That being said, you still need to have your teacher know your name on a first name basis. That way, if you have anything pop up where you have an assignment problem, you're turning in something late, or you just need help and the TA isn't available, they should be able to know who you are so that when you email or ask a question, that they can put that name to a face and associate it with you. This will save you time with assignments. It will help you if you ever need a letter of recommendation. And teachers who see students in their office are more willing to help you when you have questions or problems. Eric Thomas, who's a motivational speaker, actually said it best when he said that during his English class, he was a very poor writer, but he would show up to the teacher's office hours every day, and she would tell him, you're not a good writer. I don't think you're going to pass my class. And he said, I may not be a good writer, but I am the most persistent, and you will hear from me every day until I pass this class. And eventually she started giving in to that and helping him to write a very excellent paper, and now he has a doctorate degree. So don't let those things stand in your way. Even if you are not the most capable student, Your persistence can save you with this. Your persistence with your TA for help, your persistence with your homework, and letting your teacher know that you want to pass this class very badly, you'll be able to do it. A lot of college is more about the persistent effort than it is actually about smarts. You need to be able to do the things that need to be done rather than having a super brainiac brain. And if you can do that, anyone can pass college, I'm convinced. Google Docs and other shared calendars or documents will save you time and energy, both you and your classmates. Make it a win-win. If there aren't any Google Docs or notes floating around where people can collaborate on, then you start them, send them out an email. It saved me so much time on tests to be able to study. You can focus more on the learning and less on finding the information by breaking it up. Just type in the name of the class and your university in a Facebook search. You may be able to find something that has old Google Docs or things that may help you. That being said, the TAs will usually give you the most up-to-date information, so put all that in Google Docs and help each other out. Okay, this is something I'm a huge proponent of. You need to be a good planner. So whether that's on your phone or a personal planner, you need to be able to write these things down. At the start of each week, you need to write down all the assignments that are due, all the tests that are due, and everything that is due for the next week as well. If you can stay 1 week ahead, then you'll never get caught by surprise on anything. While I was in school, they had a university-specific planner that had a calendar of all your days off, when the end and start of semesters were, and it was perfect. So I'd recommend you get one of those. I'll leave a link to the planner that I use now because my school currently doesn't have one. It's one I use all the time, and I've had a few other people who've tried it and they really like it. Link below, you can click through and get it. I am not a proponent of group study groups. People think that they're so productive, they can be a complete waste of time if you're not careful. If you have a group that is focused, then great. Study groups are awesome, and I would recommend having one person that you can always study with who is intense and focused. But if you waste time in those study groups, you'll spend hours studying what you could learn in 20 minutes. So you need to get good at learning and learning quickly. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself. You gotta have time to have a social life as well. Like for me, I went to basketball games, that's where I met my wife. It's a pretty good deal. So make sure that you have the time that you can get your homework done set apart, be efficient with your studying. So what are ways that you can be efficient with your time? Well, first of all, do the studying and the memorizing that you can do on your own by yourself. If you can do it by yourself and learn to do it quickly, then when you're in the group you can ask those clarifying questions. Second, when you are stuck, don't spend hours on being stuck. Go see the TA, email other classmates, help them to get you unstuck in those parts that take the longest amount of time, and that will save you tons of time as well. And thirdly, use the resources that you have. Use your PowerPoints, use your reviews, use anything that the TA and the teacher have given you before, and don't just read the book. Sometimes teachers will have you read the book and take quizzes off of it. In that situation, I would definitely read the book. Only use the books like a dictionary where you're looking up a definition or reading something through, because if you spend the whole time reading the book, it may help you, but your time based on what you can learn is much minimized by reading because they don't condense things down to a learnable size. Okay, this one is huge as well. You need to learn test-taking strategies. You need to get really good at taking tests quickly and efficiently and not panicking. So the first thing that you can do to not panic during the test is to be prepared. You need to come into that test ready and having studied. That will relieve so much stress as well. But have a class. Most universities will have test-taking tips or a little mini course that you can take on how to do well on tests. Some of the things that I've learned is I always look over my test twice. I reread my answers and check my work. Process of elimination, choosing the longest answer, how to guess when you don't know how to guess, picking all of the above if you don't know what's going on. There's lots of things you can do. You can look for keywords, you can come back to questions, you can use other questions to help to answer the one that you don't know about by going through the test and then coming back to things. Go take one of these classes, get good at taking tests. Many times it's just figuring out what teachers are looking for with tests so that you can study appropriately. And once you get that pattern down, classes will go much smoother and you'll be able to cut your study time down. I hope you've liked these tips and I hope they're helpful. Again, leave a comment down below what I've missed and the things that have worked best for you. And just as a bonus, one of the best tips that I got before going to school was if you treat school like a job and you're diligent about it, then you'll be successful and you can have free time for yourself. You guys are going to dominate this year, I know it. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. Also, tell me what I missed. I'm sure there's a few things that I missed that will be helpful to all of you. And subscribe to the channel, like the video, and until next time, rewrite your stars.